Alright guys, welcome to a easy breezy machinist guide up to level 50. This is Shadowbringers 5.0. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell for future content. Starting this off, we only have two abilities, so let's go ahead and look at Wildfire. It covers target's body in a slow burning pitch. Actions change to Detonator for the duration of the effect. Deals damage when the time expires or upon executing Detonator. Again, Detonator is kind of like if the target is about to die, kind of like if you're playing Monk and you don't have your form shift, you want to toss the tornado kick right before the mob dies. Potency is increased by 150 for each of your own weapon skills. You land prior to the end of the effect, duration of 10 seconds. So it's kind of similar to the old Wildfire, maybe. Instant cast with 120 second off global cooldown. So this is definitely not the same Wildfire as you've noticed. You generally just use this, do as many weapon skills as you can possible right before the timer expires, and then it will accumulate potency based on how much you've done and basically detonate on its own. Similar to your turrets, it will detonate on its own, or you can press the button again and detonate it prematurely. At level 50, we're going to get Ricochet. It deals damage to all nearby enemies with a potency of 150 for the first enemy and 50% less for all remaining enemies. If you're up against a single target, this is literally the same as your Gauss round. It has two maximum charges as well with instant cast, 30 second off global cooldown. And this is what it looks like. So again, if you're up against a single target, it's the same as Gauss around if you're up against more than one target. So if you're up against two targets, you're going to basically increase 75 potency per extra target hit. This guy has a 1.5 second recast timer. That means that we can use this along with Wildfire to basically maximize potency along with it. So the best way to use your Wildfire essentially up against a single target is to cast your Wildfire, cast it into the actual Hypercharge, because that Hypercharge means that you're going to be casting a lot of weapon skills in quick succession. And if it's not a single target, you would just be using your, if I can get this, you'd just be using your spread shot. Just make sure you put this on a target, as an off global weave. Put this on one of the mobs that you'll be using your spread shot on, and it should work just fine. Now, a word of warning, if you don't hit this guy, if you don't hit the target that you've used your Wildfire on before it detonates, once it detonates, if you haven't hit the target with a weapon skill, it'll do nothing. It'll do flat zero potency, it'll just evaporate. So at level 50, the Hypercharge minigame, it kind of goes to a more spammy situation where sometimes you would have to use 2 heat blasts before you could use another Gauss round. Now you effectively have unlimited off globals during your little mini game, which occurs every time you get your 50 heat gauge. Go ahead and just use your Gauss round and Ricochet. Put them to 1 charge with a timer. Otherwise, if they're capped out at 2 charges, you're just going to miss out on potency. So don't do what I'm doing, what I'm about to do now, which is basically blow them off. This is essentially just meaning that you're doing your rotation, and they're generally just going to be like this. They're going to be at 1 charge or less. So let's go ahead and pop our Hypercharge. You're generally just going to do this as an off global cooldown. So let's use Hot Shot into Hypercharge. So let's use this into those. So make sure you do one of them as an off global. As you can see, they're being capped off, and that's why I mentioned it before. Just make sure that they're not capped off, because these guys, you press your heat blast, and they will both reduce the timer by 15 seconds. Alright, so this is going to be a Machinist up to level 50 guide. This is a dungeon example. And let's see what dungeon this is. This is going to be the Tam Tara Deepcroft Hard. Let's go ahead and use my Peloton. So the priorities are Wildfire and your Reassemble, and obviously if you have your Hypercharge. Just depends on whatever the mob pulls. A tank pulls. Let me use my my hot shot here. Just get ready. Remember, your Wildfire doesn't exactly work on anything else besides weapon skills. Not like it used to before. Now it just only works on the weapon skills. It's not just mindlessly shoot everything. You have to actually toss out weapon skills now. Only weapon skills. So again, the Hypercharge is still pretty much useless up against AoE. We strictly only use it up against a single target. And of course the rotation should be in the description. If you guys lose me anytime during one of these example clips during dungeons, I'm still at 50% of them. Okay, let's go ahead and use our arm's length just in case I grab aggro. Just make sure you use your off globals. Don't let them cap out. My turret is at 60%. Bring it up to 80 here. Oh, did not mean to do that. Alright, good stuff. That stuff died quick. Okay, so we have a boss fight up here real soon. I think this guy, we do not want to go too far away from it. I'm not too entirely sure. So let's go ahead and do Wildfire. You can Wildfire into weapon skill, or you can do it whichever way is most efficient to you. The issue with this is I don't want to use AoEs because I don't want to actually kill the mobs. So it's strictly single target. And I may not actually need... No, let's do my auto turret. I was thinking whether or not to use my my auto turret there. Okay, single target is pretty much mini games every now and then. It's just a mini game. It's just a Hypercharge mini game every, I believe, I think it's every 26 seconds or 24 seconds. Alright, boss fight. I keep not using my hotshot there. Come on, use that hotshot. Don't get in the center. That's gonna hurt AoE damage. %80 charge on the turrets. I think we kill mobs here. Yeah, kill ads. Okay, 100%. Time to kill him faster. Remember to swap targets as efficiently as possible. Okay, good stuff. We're gonna do our Wildfire here once I get enough heat gauge. Let me do my finisher. Ah, good stuff. Oh, experience bonus. Alright, well, this has been Machinist up to level 50 guide. This is Tigris, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, give your recommendation to DPS if you're playing DPS, if they did pretty decently. And if you're playing tank or healer, just go ahead and give your recommendation to each other or your favorites. If you have any questions, the rotations are in the description, and of course if I missed anything, just let me know in the comment section. I was kind of quiet there because I needed to focus. I needed to swap around between quite a number of targets there. And as always, you guys have a good one. We'll see you guys next time for our next video.